What is up, everybody? Here we are again with another huge news and fact roundup covering everything Breath of the Wild related. In some of our last videos, Aonuma gave several facts about where Breath of the Wild takes place on the official timeline. He lets us know for some reason that the story has nothing to do with the Wind Waker, how Zelda plays a bigger role than ever before, and so much more. So check those videos out if you haven't already after this one. Links to everything will be in the description and the top pinned comment. In today's video, Aonuma says it will be impossible for anyone to 100% complete Breath of the Wild. We discussed the alternative endings in the game. Aonuma gives another hint about DLC for Breath of the Wild. Nintendo and First Four Figures reveal the most detailed Link statue that you'll probably ever see. And we have another full interview which has been properly translated to English. So thank you for your interest in this video, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I have. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future news and analysis videos, and be sure to leave your thoughts on today's news in the comments below, as well as anything that I may have missed, and if we use it on a future video, I'll be sure to give you a shout out and credit you for bringing it to my attention. And with all of that out of the way, let's get started. During an interview with The Completionist, Gerard says that his job on YouTube is to pick one game every week and fully complete that game. He asked Aonuma what it was like to finally complete Breath of the Wild, since it has been in development for so many years. Aonuma laughs and says that it will be impossible for you to 100% complete Breath of the Wild, then encourages us to take on the challenge, and that the development was certainly a long road. The approach this time was that we tried to nurture the game and have it developed from there. Initially, we started by creating a field with nothing on it, not even grass. After that, we'd go back and play the game over and over again to figure out what needed to be added. Then, we repeated that process endlessly. We started adding everything else such as terrain and buildings. Because we took an approach where we continuously added new ideas, although we're finally finished, I still feel like we need to add more content, and I'm still thinking of ways to address this. Alright guys, right there, what did you take from that? For me, since he's still wanting to add more content to the game, that screams we're going to be getting DLC. I know some people are for it, some people are against it, but I would love for him to really clarify what he means by that. Is Nintendo and Aonuma really thinking about adding new content to Breath of the Wild? Anyways, then Miyamoto says when we develop games, we organize them in two types. For one type, you know that the game will be great, even early on in development. Then there are other games that you find out if it's fun or not only once you finish. This time with Breath of the Wild, it was kind of nerve-wracking. We always thought it would be fun, but we weren't actually certain until we finished development. For example, the horses have smart AI, so they'll run on their own and help in battles. Or the fact that the physics engine allows for things to have a sense of weight. So when something like a log doesn't move like a log, we adjust it. But that fix may cause an apple to not look right. Things like this happened all of the time, and we weren't sure if all of it was going to turn out the way that we wanted. Sometimes the wind blew objects that shouldn't move, other times it wouldn't blow objects that should move. Our programmers had to spend a long time ensuring that everything would work, and from my standpoint, it seemed like the staff was increasing almost every day. So it's important to note that while Miyamoto's talking about the rise in the number of employees working on the game, Aonuma begins laughing. Miyamoto continues, I don't pay for the games myself, but I become very concerned thinking what would happen if we don't get this game finished. Aonuma responds with a joke saying it was scary, even scarier than battling against Ganon. Aonuma was later asked again about 100%ing the game, and without hesitation, he again says, yeah, that is impossible. So what do you guys think about this? Was Aonuma hinting towards possible future DLC, as he still wants to bring content into the game? And about it being impossible to fully complete. Will this mean the game will have skippable items? Like if you don't get this specific sword or bow and arrow before completing a certain shrine, dungeon, or side quest, you won't be able to go back and get it? Perhaps it is something like in Skyward Sword, where in one of the game's side quests, you had to make a choice of whether or not to give the letter to the hand in the toilet. Depending on what you choose to do, you will see two completely different outcomes. So perhaps one item can only be acquired by choosing one path, while another item can only be found by choosing a different path. So having to choose between these two paths and the two separate items, you literally wouldn't be able to get 100% of the items available in the game. So again, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. Second up, we have an interview between Aonuma and IGN of Portugal, where Aonuma confirms that the game will have at least two different endings. Perhaps one is for defeating Ganon early, and the other is the real ending in which you complete the main story and defeat Ganon the correct way. It's interesting to note that Breath of the Wild isn't the first Zelda game with alternative endings. Link's Awakening, I believe, has the true ending for those who complete the game without dying. Majora's Mask has an alternative ending for those who visit the Skull Kid on the final day without gathering all 4 of the giants. And obviously, depending on which quests you complete or don't complete, The in-game story and certain areas will change drastically. Ocarina of Time has a small difference. One with the running man sitting still during the final cutscene at Lon Lon Ranch, and the other where he is, well, running. Let us know how you think Breath of the Wild will incorporate this alternative ending. Could there be more than just the one? Our third piece of news is also from IGN. Aonuma was asked about all of the different horses found within the game. He told us that they each have different stats from one another, like some being harder to tame and some being faster than others. He then confirms that yes, Epona will appear in the game, but didn't give any detail on how to find her. Personally, I would like to think when Epona is found, she has basically all of her stats maxed out. She is the fastest, the calmest, the strongest, and has the most speed boosts, as it would be odd seeing a horse in the game who is better than Epona. It seems you would want to make Epona stand out from the rest, and for her to feel special when being compared. It would also be interesting if the amiibo with Link on the horse is what you use to summon Epona, with Nintendo using her as DLC, similar to how tapping the Wolf Link amiibo gives you the Wolf Link as a companion. This would be great for the times that you are lost or too far away from a horse stable or a group of wild horses. Next, we have some recently translated information from an interview with Aonuma. Aonuma is asked, Breath of the Wild is the biggest project from Nintendo. Can you detail its budget, workforce, and development time? Aonuma replies, I obviously cannot talk about how much it cost. We were comprised of 300. Development went on for about 4 years. You insisted in many interviews on how much you listened to fans. No, we just ask localization teams to get us the opinions they can find. The voices that I listen to the most, personally, are from Japan, because I can get them without any filters. But we are trying to understand what's going on everywhere, according to territories, because not everyone will ask for the same thing. For example, American players don't like when they have to increase their abilities to progress in a game, like Monster Hunter. Right here, I have to stop him, because I'm pretty sure some of the best-selling games are the ones that incorporate RPG elements like this. What comes to mind first are games like Skyrim, Fallout, Dark Souls, Final Fantasy, and a few others. But anyways, back to the interview. Nintendo has been repeating for several months that this new Zelda entry marks a major turning point in the series. In what sense is this a turning point? Before, the obvious choice in terms of game design was to have areas linked together by small paths, which you would only pass through. Many people reapproached us for lacking freedom. Even here, a lot of designers thought what was fun was following an existing path, but this time, the player is dropped into the world of Breath of the Wild, and they can go anywhere, whenever they want, kind of like the first Zelda. I think Breath of the Wild will be a key moment in the history of the series. The first Zelda was designed like a role-playing game without experience points and gaining levels. Were you tempted to go back to it similar to many modern open-world games such as Far Cry or Final Fantasy 15? Absolutely not. The system we've put in place is to gain power by finding new weapons. Every monster drops one, and its power depends on the force of the creature itself. To obtain high-level equipment, you need to sometimes pull off some tricks and use stratagems. And as you've noticed, weapons break, which obligates you to repeat the cycle. It's one of the principles of Breath of the Wild, allowing us to manage progression without going through figures and punctuate traditional role-playing. Ubisoft's creative director told us that Breath of the Wild reminds him of Far Cry and Assassin's Creed, but with a slower character. For him, it gives the impression of a bigger world, and contributes to more immersion. Do you agree with that analysis? I hope he wasn't talking about the animation's fluidity. Aonuma answers while laughing. It is nice of him, but we didn't think of it that way. Link's speed is adapted to the pace of the game. There are many things hidden in the world you can of course run, but you would miss everything we have hidden. Are there elements of the open world role-playing game Skyrim which you acknowledge having drawn inspiration from? What I really liked about Skyrim is that when you walk around and then you enter a new city, there's a real shock. Like, there's a city here. Oh, it's so different from the others. That was the first time that I felt like this in a video game. So I wanted to incorporate this in Zelda, though in a different way. That's why you can climb everywhere. And once at the top, you can tell yourself, oh, there's maybe something over here. What if I went up to that river? So you take your paraglider and you explore the world after spotting it. This pleasure of discovery I wanted to take from Skyrim, because I've never felt it elsewhere. Finally, we have this awesome Breath of the Wild Link figure from First 4 Figures. If you didn't know, First 4 Figures are known for their incredibly detailed high-end statues of characters from different games. Some of their Zelda figures have even been resold for well over $1,000. This doesn't really count as what I would normally talk about for news, but it just looks so good not to mention. And First 4 Figures have said they have ideals for other Breath of the Wild figures as well, so I thought you all might enjoy it. And there we have it, we've come to an end on today's news. What did you think about what Aonuma and Miyamoto had to say? Let me know in the comments below. And if you would like even more Zelda news, please subscribe and check out my other recent videos. I have several different videos all containing different information from Miyamoto, Aonuma, and others working on Breath of the Wild. It's all very interesting stuff that has to do with the timeline, Zelda's role in the game, Goron, Zora's, and other races acting as side companions similar to Wolf-Link, and much more. If you enjoyed this video, you'll love the others as well. What's up everybody, really quick before we get to the usual end slate, I wanted to mention a quick update for this channel. I'm trying to bring together a few new series other than the usual discussions and news videos that we do. I would like to bring quality reviews, let's plays, do more live streams, a top 10 series, and more analysis videos. However, to do this, I need your help. Between being a new father, YouTube, and my real job, I don't have the time to work on all of these videos. So I'd like to bring on other people who can help out from time to time, like Sasizi and others who have helped host and edit videos before. To make this all happen, and to get awesome rewards for yourself, head over to patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can get shoutouts and videos, join our group Discord and chat with us whenever you want, be a guest on some of our videos, and much more. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would like to give a huge thank you to this month's Patreons for their support: George Martinez, Glenn Cassio, Hen Hutinen, Lunarium, Magic Tech Review, The Itch Network, and Harris Priest. Thank you all for everything, and it's because of your support that I'm able to find the time to do these videos. If you would also like to support this channel, head over to patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can find all kinds of great rewards like joining on a video, being added onto our Discord chat, having your discussion or topic featured on one of our videos, and much more, including having your own custom artwork similar to my own, drawn of you in any anime or video game style you would like. Finally, I would like to give a huge thank you to Gnomo Designs and CS Guitar 89 for providing the music and artwork for this channel.